All right, thank you for joining us for week 4 of Offsides on YouTube. This is Crazy Eyes Rolf over here. He's right here. Hopefully we have some good info from Rolf this week. We're going to find out here soon. This is Haircut Mike, and we have Randy. So, we're going to go over week 4.
We switched sides. I feel odd.
It is awkward right now. It is awkward. Week 4 recaps. We're going to talk about a couple of games that just transpired. KC versus the New York Football Giants. Now, Kansas City beats the heck out of the Giants. Where do the Giants go from here?
I said this last week. Tim Tebow.
They go to Tim Tebow.
They go to Tim Tebow. I think right now you could replace Eli Manning with just about anybody. But really, the truth is,
yeah,
they need an offensive line. Their offensive line is banged up. Nobody can block for anything.
Now, you made a recommendation, drop back, shotgun formation, right? Maybe even put 2 running backs back there, right? Somebody to help block and see what we can do to create more time. Is that still a good option for them?
No, because now you got nobody out there to catch a pass from Eli Manning.
Okay.
So
you got Victor Cruz.
You got Cruz.
Yeah, well, you got Victor Cruz, but it's like you can put 6 guys covering just Victor Cruz because nobody else is going to catch the ball. So you have basically 4 guys that can go through 8 on the offensive line because that's how many you need to protect Eli right now.
Yeah.
And everybody else covers Victor Cruz, and who cares what the others are doing? They're useless.
Yeah, it's pretty rough out there when it comes to that blocking schemes.
I love David Wilson. I just think what a pickup that was.
Hey, that's my running back.
All right, next game. Seattle at Houston. Houston's winning the game, going into halftime. Seattle comes
They're
out.
running away with the game
Win
at that time.
with the win. Russell Wilson, not great on the stat line. No touchdown passes. Had some good yardage running. I think it was about 80 yards running, and then over 100 yards passing, but no touchdowns. The team really came together, though. I mean,
yeah.
Is this what we're going to see from Seattle when they struggle? Are they going to be able to pull this out of their hat every time? I mean, Houston's considered a pretty good team, and Seattle was able to make a comeback on them. I mean, I'm kind of.
If you can win ugly, that's a good sign for your team.
Okay. Yeah, that is an ugly win for them. That is an ugly win. That's for sure.
Well, Houston loses ugly, though. I mean, lately they've found a way to they're
just
losing.
because your Broncos win pretty all the time.
Hey, my Broncos win very pretty, but the Seattle Seahawks, what this proved to me is that this is a team that could go into somebody's house, a playoff team from last year, and win on the road. Yeah. Last year they couldn't do this.
Right.
Yeah.
This year they are doing this, which tells you, and with 3 offensive linemen missing.
Yeah.
How do you beat a playoff team from last year? Well, because Houston's a pretender, but they still have the specter of being good, I guess.
Right.
But, I really like Seattle. Like I said, Denver, Seattle, Super Bowl, I still think it, and that is the best team in the NFC.
Yeah. Now, what about Houston? I mean, where do you go from here? I mean, you got Schaub who throws pick 6, which helped Seattle come back this game.
I think you go with Tim Tebow once again.
Schaub's a Joe.
Get out of here.
Schaub's a Joe Flacco. He's another game manager. And if you don't have a running game, if you don't have which they had a big lead, they just couldn't keep it going.
Right.
The offense. I mean, Seattle's defense, they come out in the second half and just dominate. That's what they're supposed to do.
True.
But that Houston offense, if they don't have that running game going, Schaub's not going to win you the game.
Yeah, and it's obviously it's looking that way. It looks like he's one of those quarterbacks that I need help.
Yeah.
To win this game. I'm not going to win it for you, but I need help.
Houston has a running game. They have 2 good running backs in Tate and Foster.
Right.
And Schaub still finds a way to lose football games for you. And they have
you have
a running
Andre Johnson as well. I mean, you have a lot of
weapons
on that team. A lot of weapons on that team. All right, and then we have Pats, Falcons. Pats. 4-0. I did not expect this. I mean, I knew they'd be all right. I mean, Tom Brady doesn't like to lose. You guys are a very, very good competitor, and they're figuring it out. What is their? How are they winning? Is I guess my question. How are the Pats winning each week? I mean, are they just playing terrible teams? I mean, I consider Atlanta pretty good.
Yeah.
This season it's their defense.
Defense
is. Normally, it's Tom Brady and the offense,
right?
Picking everybody apart.
Because you had Welker last year. Obviously, you don't have Welker now.
Yeah, and you have the 2 tight ends, which you don't have this year.
You're exactly right.
So the offense is struggling this year, but the defense is shutting. I mean, they're shutting down when they need to.
Yeah. So, they're holding them.
Once that offense comes around, I think they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see.
But the Pats just lost Vince Wilfork for the year. That's your anchor on the defensive line.
That's huge.
Will they be able to fill? Will they be able to fill that spot? I'm not so sure. They have some young guy that I guess he's a free agent rookie.
Yeah.
They really like this kid, but Vince Wilfork is the best nose tackle in the game.
Right.
They seem to do pretty all right towards the end of it, but now you're going to look and say, well, maybe we can run on the Patriots. We don't really have to throw. Maybe we can run. The Patriots are running, so why don't we run?
Right. I think the only thing to really beat the Pats up is to keep their offense off the field and kind of run like a really managed offensive scheme to keep their offense from being on the field. Run it, drive it down their throats, and then hopefully give Brady no time to actually get out there and do his thing. But no one's figured it out. 4-0 Pats, so that's pretty impressive. And then obviously Detroit, Chicago, great NFC matchup there, and Detroit takes it. Beats Chicago. I was kind of thinking Chicago, this might be one of their years where they might turn it up a notch. They have everything in place, but Detroit comes in and spoils it for them. I mean, Detroit's defense getting it done, Detroit's offense getting it done. Reggie Bush, is he the missing weapon that they were missing last year?
Well, here's the thing. I said Chicago was a pretender a couple of weeks ago on the film that got 2 views.
Right.
But Chicago is a pretender. Jay Cutler, you don't know when he's going to have his meltdown. He said all the right things after this game. He took the blame for it. It was his fault.
Right.
But when they start losing lots of games, that's when Jay Cutler starts blaming everybody else but himself. He starts blaming the line. He starts blaming the coaches. I think Detroit is actually the better team. 2 years ago, Detroit was pretty good. Last year, they fell off the table. But this year, with the addition of Reggie Bush, Matthew Stafford has somebody that is kind of his Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, because he's dumping it out to him. You see those swing passes a lot right now lately, and Bush great in the open field.
It's taken Reggie Bush 8 years to become this player that they thought he was going to be when he came out of college.
This is right.
But he's there. I believe that Detroit is going to be very tough as long as Bush stays healthy.
All right. Now we want to go to a different subject. We're going to be looking at the 4-0 teams currently in the NFL. Which one of these are going to stay undefeated at least for another 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks? Which ones are going to lose tonight? Which one of them are going to lose right behind us? It's Miami versus New Orleans, so one we're going to go down tonight. But we want to talk about each and every one of these because are these guys going to be in the playoffs? We've seen teams like this before years past, where you've seen San Diego, Kansas City, what have you.
Arizona.
And then all of a sudden just implode and not even make it to the playoffs. So let's go through some of the teams right now. We'll start off with Seattle. Let's do Seattle.
All right.
Seattle. Are they going to make it all the way undefeated based upon the schedule you're looking at?
All right, so the teams, let me just list off the teams real quick, all the undefeated teams.
Sure.
We've got the Miami Dolphins,
Right.
New Orleans Saints, so they're playing tonight.
They're playing tonight.
So one of them won't be. We've got the Patriots,
Yep.
the Chiefs,
Yep.
the Seahawks, and the Broncos.
And the Broncos.
I'm going to go, okay, Miami Dolphins, we're looking at their schedule. They're at New Orleans right now. They've got Baltimore. They've got at New England. They have Cincinnati at home, and then they have New England again. Those are 5 pretty tough games.
Okay.
And I don't think they have the talent even to win tonight. So
Miami's gone?
Miami's
gone. You're out.
Miami's the
You're
imploding
out.
team. Miami is the team like the Arizona Cardinals that started out 4-0. This will be the team that implodes on itself and ends up by the end of the season 6-10.
6-10. Okay.
Remember, I don't like Florida, I guess, very much.
Yes. He's not a fan of the hot weather.
now we have the other team tonight, the New Orleans Saints, led by Drew Brees, who is a champion. They play Miami tonight. They're at New England. They have San Francisco. They're at Atlanta, at Seattle, at Carolina. Oh, I didn't mean to do Carolina.
Oh, well, yeah. You just obviously put Carolina in a realm that nobody else does.
Carolina's probably going to whoop the Saints. We'll see about that.
Carolina all of a sudden. Hey, somebody noticed us.
It's awesome.
So you've got San Francisco at Atlanta,
It's a tough
at Seattle.
schedule.
That's a killer schedule. At New England, I don't see any way they go undefeated.
Gotcha. Saints are out.
See you later.
Saints are out. They still go to the playoffs, though, right?
I think they do.
Saints still go to playoffs?
Absolutely, they go to
At
the
least
playoffs.
as a wild card.
You know what? I picked them
Or
to.
main thing, I mean, the Falcons aren't picking it up. They might.
I picked them to win the division.
I was going to say,
I picked them to be a wild card because I thought the Falcons would win the division. Right now, the Falcons they're disappointing.
They're disappointing. Tony Gonzalez is like, I should have retired. All right.
Yeah, way to go, Tony.
Who do you got next?
Up next is the New England Patriots.
Okay.
They've got at Cincinnati. They're playing New Orleans. They play Miami twice. They're playing Denver once. At Houston, which I say could be tough. But
I know.
Randy disagrees.
I think that's an easy win for New Orleans. Mark it down right now. Easy win for New Orleans.
And I have at Baltimore. I don't know if they'll be tough or not, but there's some tough games there. I don't think.
With the $120 million game manager, you think that's going to be a tough game, huh?
It's possible.
It's possible. The defense might cover up. Doomerville may get a sack.
But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 games that are questionable.
They're questionable, and those teams are winning. I mean,
those are all teams with a winning.
Besides
record.
Pittsburgh is the only one that's trying to figure out.
I didn't highlight Pittsburgh.
Are we playing in the NFL yet or not? Yeah, I understand.
Oh yeah. Look, I highlight Pittsburgh right now as the 0-16 team to go with the.
They might not win anything. You're right.
Well, no, they play each other. Pittsburgh plays Jacksonville, I think, at some point this year. So we might see the exciting whatever bowl.
So Patriots, they stay undefeated. No.
I say no.
No,
I say no for the Patriots, so they're done.
Patriots are out.
Yay! We don't like the Patriots.
Going to the playoffs, but you're not going undefeated.
Now here's a questionable one. We have Kansas City Chiefs. They've got the easiest schedule besides playing Denver twice, which really sucks. Otherwise, the only other team on their schedule is Houston and Indianapolis, which are both winnable.
Why do you keep highlighting Houston? Seriously, stop that. Just stop it.
Houston.
It's a 2-2 team that lost at home.
But they have enough talent to be formidable.
They're
not Jacksonville.
Gary Scooby Snacks can figure this out.
Yeah, it's Scooby Snacks.
He could.
But because they played Denver twice, I don't think there's any way they can go undefeated.
I don't think so either.
So,
I don't think so either. Yep, gone.
That was my surprise team, though.
Seattle.
So we have, what's left is we have our 2 Super Bowl teams that we all picked.
I feel that way, yes. Seattle and Denver. Yep.
So let's go with Seattle first. They're at Indianapolis.
Yeah.
They have at Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
They have New Orleans at home, and then they're at San Francisco. Those are the 4. They only have 4 really tough games.
That's a challenge, though.
They're all winnable for Seattle.
They're winnable, obviously. I mean, when you could go into Houston and win, in overtime, no less, after you're down 17 points.
They smack San Francisco around at home.
Yep.
But it's still San Francisco. It's the same team. You'll play the same players in San Francisco. It's not.
Yeah.
But in San Francisco, it will be a different dynamic, and at that time of the year, you could have very sloppy weather.
And by
week 14, that field in New England is in San Francisco.
By
terrible.
week 14, that's when we're really looking at playoffs. I mean, teams are if we win 2 games and they lose 1, we get home field advantage. I mean, that is going to turn up 5 notches.
Well, but you got to figure. I guarantee
and who's still healthy by then?
But I guarantee you, if Seattle is 12-0 at that point, going into San Francisco with the drubbing that San Francisco received in Seattle, they are going to be super high for that game. They are going to be above the world, and they are not going to allow 13-0 to come out of that stadium.
I noticed you didn't highlight the New York Football Giants.
No, I didn't feel too strongly about the Giants this year. I don't know. Call me crazy. I just don't know.
I'm calling you crazy because I believe the Giants are going to turn this around and win 12 in a row.
That would be nuts.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Take that bet in Vegas.
Somebody please put the odds on that one for me.
And the last undefeated team, of course, is the Denver Broncos. They've got some tough games coming up. I think they're the best team in the league, so they're all winnable. They've got at Indianapolis, Kansas City twice, at New England, and the New England and Kansas City games late in November and beginning of December.
Yeah.
Those are cold weather games. Peyton Manning sometimes doesn't play that well in cold weather, so we'll see.
But he's got a glove.
That's what we saw.
He's got the fancy glove. Don't you see with the glove?
We did see that last year. I mean, we saw that during the playoff game.
Yeah, and then they're at Houston. Sorry.
And they are at Houston.
That's an easy win. I'm sorry. If we're 14-0 by the time we get to Houston, we'll be 15-0 leaving Houston.
Here's the other thing: is if they're undefeated and have their division in hand, are they going to rest Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning will want that undefeated season. Peyton Manning will want to do something that hasn't been done since the '73 Dolphins. I guarantee you, if they are still 14-0 at that point and a chance to win and win out, he will stay in. I guarantee it. He will.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to. I mean, man's 37.
Brady stayed in.
There's no more chances. There's no more chances.
Some coaches feel differently and they want to protect their players. So
well,
I don't know what John Fox is like.
If John Fox takes him out, punch him in the head. I will go to Dove Valley. I will punch him in the head.
The Colts tried that with Manning years ago. Remember when Manning was with them? They rested everyone. They went in the first round. Gone. So I say keep him in the game.
See, and that's the thing.
I agree too.
Manning does terrible with rest.
Yeah.
When you rest him for 2 or 3 weeks, he is a rhythm-based quarterback.
Yeah.
You cannot rest a man who is a rhythm-based quarterback because then it looks like preseason when he finally comes back. And
so
I
then
think
you're saying that the game after the bye is a chance
2 or 3 weeks. I said 2 or
lose.
3 weeks. Don't you dare. Who is that game after?
San Diego.
San Diego. San Diego.
I am a little worried about that now.
That's awesome. Well, good. So what we're thinking is looking like maybe 2 undefeated teams.
The Seahawks and the Broncos have the best chance, and it would be amazing if they're both undefeated going into the Super Bowl.
I'm going to make a bold prediction and say there will be no undefeated. I don't know. I'm just going to say it's only.
I don't know. I don't see anyone beating the Broncos.
I don't either.
Unless
they give it to them.
They go in, day out, and they are literally getting better, which is getting scarier for every single defense that faces them.
Why are you beating up my table?
You even heard the Giants say that when they played him. They're like, look, we're going to stop blitzing. He throws it too fast. I mean, you were seeing that with Philadelphia. Even Eric Decker said that when he was on the sidelines, and Pam Oliver went and talked to him, saying, look, what I'm seeing from the defensive backs, by the time we get to the second half, they're not even trying anymore. They're pretty much like not even in the same stance. And when you play the game and you read that on somebody, they're already done. They're already done. So I don't know. I really don't know.
I circled the two cold weather games at New England, at Kansas City. Mm-hmm. Those are the only 2 that I would think that there could be an upset and they lose.
Yeah, could be. All right, we're going to go over to Randy here. We're going to talk about some backups versus starters. And we did see some backups actually play this week. And actually get some W's, right? I mean, there was some wins.
Not the guy that Freeman's backup. Glennon did not get a victory.
I told you.
That guy actually looks scared out there.
He did.
He actually looks scared. He looks like he's 15. I don't know if you got a chance to look at this kid.
I saw.
He's a beanpole. He looks 15, and he's looking like, Mom, what am I doing? Like, it's something else. But, I mean, you saw this. Freeman is acting like a baby, acting like a kid. The team's done with him. They'll probably cut him, I'm assuming, within a week or so.
They're trying to trade him, but who wants him? He's not that good of a starting quarterback to begin with, so what are you trading him for? A 7th-round pick so you can give him to a backup to somebody else?
Yeah.
But we talked about Glennon's stats. He was mediocre in the ACC, for Christ's sakes, and so he's going to play NFL football now?
Yeah.
No. It's a little bit better than SEC competition, so I don't think he's going to be very good.
All right. So who you got? I know Hoyer started this week again. 2 weeks in a row.
Hoyer was a guy I was looking to replace a couple weeks ago. Right. Now I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Hoyer may be the answer for that team, so I'm not going to bench that man. Terrell Pryor. You got Terrell Pryor with Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn, I thought, might have a chance. He was going up against a weak Washington defense, but he showed me nothing.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game.
So
at all.
Now I'm on the fence on that one.
Yeah, because Pryor gives you that running aspect. Now, however, with the running aspect, you also get injured. Pryor got injured.
That's what Pryor got.
RG3, he's scared to throw. Right? They win the game, but they win against the Raiders. A big deal. But I mean, you have the dynamic of Pryor, and then you have Flynn, who had that one good game, but that's all I'm seeing. He kind of reminds me of a Matt Castle.
But he's made millions off that one good game, just like Scott Mitchell, just like, the other guy I just lost him in my head. But there are other, Cobb. I mean, just have one good game, and they get giant contracts. Yeah. And even Matt Castle. Matt Castle got a giant contract going into
Kansas
Kansas
City. That was off of the season, though. That was off of a whole season.
It was off of a season, off of a 16-0 team that he led to 11-5. Good job. You lost 5 more games than the previous quarterback did.
Right.
So I'm real proud of you, Castle, but you did get a lot of money for that. But he played well in
Minnesota. Yeah, because then all of a sudden he finds this man named
Greg Jennings.
Yes, that is great. Yeah, that's what it was. And 2 touchdowns for Greg. He's like, I'm feeling good about this. And
it's weird that Palmer couldn't find that same receiver.
Yeah, Ponder's, I don't know where he's looking at. He's obviously not looking at him. But
Ponder looks this way.
Apparently.
And then Ponder looks this way.
Is he saying, Adrian Peterson, help me?
It's like, Adrian, can you throw the ball? And no, Adrian doesn't do that because as soon as you hand it to him, he wants to just take it to the house.
Right.
But I'm a believer that Kirk Cousins could come into one of these teams. Definitely Blaine Gabbert, you got to go.
Yeah.
Is there any defense for how Blaine Gabbert has played this year?
Is there any reason they haven't tried to get a quarterback?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me either.
What? Who loves him that much in that organization? They will not get rid of Gabbert.
I don't know.
I don't know how you could go in there day in, day out.
We just listed quarterbacks on teams that are sitting on the bench doing nothing, and you have Gabbert starting.
Yeah, I mean, you could try to trade for Kirk Cousins, which I think would be better than Gabbert.
Oh, for sure.
Matt Castle would be better if you want to put, now Ponder. I think you should put on the bench, but I'd take Ponder over Gabbert. But the one that we forget about, and I know that you don't like him, is Kyle Orton. And I'm gonna give you stats real quick. The man has thrown for 14,000 yards. Okay. He's got about a 58% completion percentage.
What's Gabbert's?
He's thrown 80. Oh, nobody wants to know what that is.
2%.
81 touchdowns, 57 INTs, and he's got about an 80 quarterback rating lifetime. In between the 20s, and I've said this, if you have a really good field goal kicker, you could put up 21 points a game just on field goals, because in between the 20s, Kyle Orton is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
But when you get in the red zone, you might want to put anybody back in. You might want to line up Maurice Jones-Drew as your quarterback.
Or hope you have a good running game.
Run a little bit of wildcat action or something. But a college football team have like 3 starting quarterbacks. Oklahoma does that. right?
But to me, Orton, Cousins, Castle, it's better than Ponder, Gabbert.
So there's some quarterbacks that need to go away, or that we feel that should go away. Ponder, one of them. Whedon, I think Whedon's out of job.
Whedon's gone. I
think you bring in, when they brought in Hoyer, obviously the 3rd string went to 1st string. Beat out Jason Campbell. I think you have a diamond with him. He enjoys playing for the Browns. He's wanted to play with them since he was a kid. And you could tell him out there going after the teams as he's playing.
But do you know where Hoyer actually came from? Where he came out of? He came out of the Patriots organization.
Yes.
So he came out of the Patriots organization. So if you're watching Tom Brady, you've been watching greatness, and maybe he picked up a couple things.
Yeah, maybe he did.
Now he's at home. He loves it. He's playing for his childhood team, and
there you go.
Really, Tebow did not pick up enough things when he was there.
Now Vikings.
Tebow he probably picked up the ball for Tom Brady when he would. Throw it. It's like, here, Tom, here's your ball back. Can you teach me how to do that?
Now, how about Castle and Ponder? I personally say you change it, you make it Castle.
Absolutely,
I agree.
There's no reason.
They've seen enough Ponder.
We saw Ponder all of last year
to be pondering anything about him starting anymore.
Did you really just say that?
Yes, I did. That's gonna get edited out.
Oh, I'm pondering your use of that joke.
That's right.
Okay, but Matt Castle, he had a year in Kansas City, or a year or 2 in Kansas City. He never proved anything there, but now he comes to Minnesota. He has his one good game. Is this the thing where he has the one good game? Right. They didn't get to prepare for him all week. Next week, they'll prepare for Castle, and then we'll see the same old Castle we saw in KC.
We'll see.
But right now, I like Castle over Ponder, because Ponder, we've had 2 years of him, and he's just not going to cut it.
All right, Tampa Bay, they don't know what to do. They're going to run with this other guy and see what happens at the end of the year. I'm assuming Glenn.
I think Greg Schiano should start getting that resume dusted off, because he may be out of a job before the season.
Well, we talked about that.
That's a whole other topic.
He's gone. Yeah,
he's that's a whole other topic for another time. But,
exactly right.
But I'm just saying, Greg.
Well, we're going to check out the New Orleans and Miami game and watch which one drops now and the one stays undefeated. We'll catch you guys back next week, week 5 of Offsides, going over some of the teams, some of the recaps, and as well as maybe some trade talks as we get closer to the trade deadline. For Mike, Randy, we're out. See you next week.